Hey there, and welcome to another Marketing Moxie WordPress tutorial where we teach you how to build reputation and produce results. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with the back end of your website, installing WordPress, the databases, and then actually installing WordPress onto your site. The requirements for this are that you already have your hosting company and domain name figured out, and then you have linked the two together using the DNS given to you by the hosting company. Alright, so let's begin. Remember, at this point you do need to have already gotten domain names and hosting for your website, and you should have already linked the DNS that you got from your hosting company to the domain names. Wherever you got your domain names, there's going to be a place to put in your domain name servers. That's the DNS that you get from your hosting company. It varies from domain name service to domain name service, so you're going to need to figure that out with them. I could show you a quick run through on GoDaddy and Bluehost, which are the companies we use, and I'll put links for them into the video. But those are the companies we use, and I can give you a tutorial later on how to do that. But for now, I'm just going to show you how to use cPanel to set up your WordPress databases. So once you actually link those two, you're just going to go to the domain name that you bought, and then /cPanel. And what that does is it takes you to this login page, and this is going to be the admin of your entire website where you can set up databases, set up emails, and set up really everything you need to do to actually get WordPress working on your site. So I'm just going to log in really quickly, and this is what you're going to see. At least with Bluehost, this is what we see, but every cPanel looks very similar to this. Now, there are two things you want to do. Email accounts are very important, and I'll go over those again in a later video. And then the other thing is you'll need to set up a database for your WordPress site. Now you can just go to MySQL databases, and that's going to streamline the process and make it much easier to do. So just click on that, and then you're going to get this screen where you need to enter in a database and you need to assign a user to that database. And that way your WordPress site can access the database using that user and store all the information on your site. Your posts, your pages, your pictures, videos, everything that's on your site is going to be stored in this database. So since this is for the YouTube tutorials, I'm just going to name the database YouTube. Then you just click Create Database, and that database is there. It's done. Nothing else you need to do with that. Now scroll down, and you're going to see I have a bunch of databases already in here. But that's not very important at the moment. Now you need to assign a user that will be able to access that database. And generally it's just good to name the user the exact same thing. Use whatever password you would usually use for this type of thing, and then click Create User. Once you do that, it's going to tell you the user and give you the password. Make sure you have this password saved. Now just go back, and the one last thing you have to do back here is assign a user to a database. So find the user, Adrian, YouTube, and then assign them to the database, which should be named the exact same thing. That just makes it way easier to handle everything. Click Add, make sure they have all privileges, and then click Make Changes. And that's it. That's all you have to do with databases. It's very, very simple. The next thing you want to do, if you haven't already, is download WordPress onto your computer. To do that, you just have to go to wordpress.org/download, and it's going to take you to this download screen where you can just click download and it'll put it on your computer, and that's all you have to do. They also have a 5-minute installation guide that goes through all the same things I'm going to go over in this video, but with text instead of the video. So if you're a more text-minded person, then that might be better for you, and you can just click this link right here to go to it. But if you're more visual-based and like to be walked through it and told how to do it, then this video is probably going to be better for you. So once you actually get the WordPress folder downloaded on your computer, you want to actually go to where it downloaded, which for me is this folder right here. For you, it might be in your downloads folder. If you specified one, it'll be in there. And you're going to end up with this thing right here. It's WordPress and then the version number after it. You just want to right click it and click Extract Here. If you're on Windows, that's going to work. If you're on Mac, it should work the same way. So once you click Extract Here, it's going to open this folder. And you're going to want to go into this folder And there are a bunch of files here that define how your site functions. You don't really want to mess with any of these except for one, and that's wp config sample. And that's just going to define the database, the user for the database, and the password. I'll show you how. When you open it, it's going to have all this data in here that you might not entirely know what it does, but you don't need to, and that's the great thing about this, because they have three very clearly defined places. Database name here, username here, and password here. Those are the only three places in the entire WordPress installation where you need to edit anything. And you just made the database name, the username, and the password. It's very easy. So all you have to do is type in the database name. Now the database name, I made it YouTube, but it also includes the cPanel login name in front of it. So for me, my cPanel login, if you remember that was the first thing you did in the video, is Adrian, and then you do underscore, and then the name of the database. The same thing goes with the user. Adrian first, because that's my login for cPanel, underscore, and then the username for that database. And then this is the database password. This is just whatever you assign the password to that user for. For me, that was the password, and it's clearly blocked out. But those are the only three things you need to change. Then you want to go save it, and that's all you need to do with all of this. You're done editing these files. You don't need to touch them anymore. The next thing you're going to need to do is actually upload these to your server using a file transfer protocol software. You can do that either in cPanel or using FileZilla, which there's the link for. One last thing you will need to do is edit the name of this file so that instead of wp config sample, it's just going to be wp config. So just delete -sample and you're going to be good. That's all you have to do. If you want to go the FileZilla route, you want to go to FileZilla-project.org, and that's going to take you to this page where you're just going to click on Download FileZilla Client, and that's going to let you install the software. You're going to go here, you're going to pick which download you want to get. There's a Mac install, Linux install, and Windows install. So just click on whichever one is yours. You want to go to the download, and it's going to take a second to download because they have to go through external hosting, and then it's going to pop up the little download box. Now save it wherever you want to save it, and then you're just going to install like you do any other software. Double click and go through the exe stuff. If you're on Mac, it's going to pretty much be the same thing. And then you're going to get that installed, and then you want to open it. When you open it, there are a couple things you're going to need to know. And this is all going to be when you got your domain name and your hosting company. So, the host, adrianfritz.com. For me. For you, it's whatever domain name you're using. Username and password, same thing as your login for cPanel. And then you just want to click connect. It's going to log you in. Now you want to go to public HTML. Now this is what you're going to see. There's just going to be cgi.bin, and that's it. Then on the left, you're going to have all your folders and files on your computer. And then what you want to do is navigate to wherever you saved those WordPress files. For me, they're in YouTube, in WordPress, and then in WordPress here. And then all you have to do is select all the files and copy them over. Now that's going to take a minute, so while that uploads, go make yourself some tea and watch the process. Maybe enjoy a couple minutes of your favorite show. Whatever you want to do to kill 5 to 10 minutes of time. And then once this is done, you're going to just have to take one more step, and WordPress will be installed and activated on your site. And it's going to be awesome because that's just going to make the entire website process easier, and you're not going to have to mess with any of this backend stuff anymore, because the only thing you're going to need to do is mess with the WordPress interface, and the WordPress interface is very, very simple to use. And I'm going to explain how to do that in the rest of the series of 10 as well. So if you want to learn how to use everything that there is to know about WordPress, just keep watching the series as I upload it. So let's say you don't want to go the FileZilla route, and you want to just use cPanel, which is perfectly understandable. Some people don't want to install other software on their computer, or whatever your reason may be. It's really easy to do in cPanel as well. It varies a bit, so with this cPanel, it's going to be in Files and File Manager. For yours, everything is going to be under Files. No matter what it is, it's going to be Files, but it might be FTP Manager, File Manager, something like that. And when you click it, it's going to ask you which root you want to go into, and this is perfectly fine. Document root for adrianfritz.com, that's going to be good for you, whatever one it picks, that's going to be fine. For me, I want to go to youtube.marketingmoxie.biz because that's where I'm installing WordPress. For you, the default one's going to work though, so you don't need to worry about it. So click go, and then for me, it takes me here. I've seen a couple different interfaces. One that's more like FileZilla, where you have the files on your computer on the left, and then upload and the site files on the right. It's just going to kind of vary. But with this one, as you can see, all the files are already uploaded here because I just did them in FileZilla. But if they weren't here, then I would click on Upload, I would choose File, and then this is why it's less efficient to do this. Because then you have to navigate to wherever your file is. For me, it's in all of these different folders. And then you can only actually upload one file at a time. So that's why it's really helpful to use FileZilla, because for a lot of these different FTP options you have in browser, you can only do one at a time. So I definitely recommend using FileZilla. But, you might not want to, and that's fine. And if you do want to upload these, and you do have the option to upload more than one at a time, it's definitely going to be, pretty efficient. You just want to make sure that you have 644 permissions. It explains what they are right here. It means the user, that's the database user, can read and write. Group and world are basically visitors to your site, and you want to make sure they can't edit your WordPress files or your database files or anything like that. So you want to make sure they can just read. And that's it. You just want to make sure that's that. Upload the files. You'll be one step closer to installing WordPress with just one last thing that you have to do, and that's activating. To activate your WordPress install, you want to enter in whatever the URL of your site is. For me, it's youtube.marketingmoxie.biz. Go to /wp-admin, then / and it's actually install, not activate, install.php. This is also listed in their little 5-minute written handy guide if you want to look at that too. Then you just go there, and it's going to ask you a couple things. What do you want the title of your site to be? For me, it's YouTube Tutorials by Marketing, if I could spell, Moxie, LLC. And tutorials should probably be capitalized. Whatever you want the username to be. For me, I'm going to use my name, colon. Password, whatever you want your password to be. It's up to you. Your email, for me, it's colon@marketingmoxie.biz. There's a G on there. And whether you want people to be able to find your website by searching. If you check this, you want this checked because you want people to find your website through Google. So you want to leave this checked. But say, for instance, you don't want people to find your site for a week or so when you're setting it up, or you want it to just be between you and your company or you and your friends. Uncheck this, and it won't get indexed by search engines. But for me, I want this checked. So you want to click Install, and that's it. You're done. You installed WordPress. Now, anytime you want to log into WordPress, this is the URL you have to go to. Your website /wp-login.php. Bookmark this. You're going to need to go to this every time you want to log into your site. To log in, your username, your password. I personally like to say remember me, just because that way I don't need to log in every single time. You can do this too. Click login, and you have a clean WordPress install. There are going to be some sample posts in here, a sample comment, some plugins. And I'll go over all that in the next videos. That's all you have to do. It's pretty easy to do once you actually figure out what the steps are. So in review, for all this, you need to have your DNS from your hosting company and then also the information from your domain names, and then you need to link the two together. Once you do that, you're going to be able to log into your cPanel. From there, you want to create the database. You want to create the database, the username, and the password to go along with that, and then you want to link all of these together. Once you link those three together, you can get out of cPanel. You don't need to use that. From there, you need to have WordPress downloaded on your computer. If you don't already, go to the URL that's right here. There we go, right here. And it'll take you to the download screen. You want to go into the WordPress files that you downloaded, go to wp-config-sample.php, and then edit that. You want to edit the database, the username, and the password to be the ones you made in cPanel. From there, edit wp-config-sample to just be wp-config. And then that's all you need to do there. Next thing you need to do is upload those files to your site. I personally use FileZilla. Again, links right here. You can use the in-browser FTP. I personally don't like to use it just because you have more power with FileZilla, but it will certainly work for this if you want it to in most cases. Then once you do that, you need to go to your WordPress URL, whatever your site's URL is, /wp-admin/install.php. Once you do that, it's going to ask you for some information on your site. Just input that information in there, and then once you finish doing that, it's going to just have your website installed. You're going to be done. Congratulations! You're going to finally have WordPress installed on your site. Yeah. That's about all there is to it. I'll go over how to actually use the WordPress interface more in future videos. Yeah, because I'm making a series of 10 videos, or maybe a little more depending on how it goes, but I want it to be at least 10 videos showing you how to use WordPress, everything in WordPress, and a decent amount of social media stuff too, so Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube. Those are the 4 main ones that I want to go over. If you have any questions, post them below, send me an email, etc. If you could like the video, that's here. There we go. If you could like the video, that would be great. Subscribe should be right about here. So if you click those, that'd be awesome. It would really help me, get this out to more people and get more content to you guys, because it means there's interest here, and I'll know what videos you guys like better by, how many likes there are. So let me know. And if you want, you can go to marketingmoxie.biz, and there's going to be tutorials for all this. Like, all the tutorials that I have so far are going to be laid out on a site. Page is going to be right here. So you can go there and view all these tutorials. We also have packages for installing WordPress if you want to do it. We have packages for social media. We have a bunch of different packages depending on what your needs are. So you can go there. We have a bunch of information about installing WordPress and working with us on getting WordPress installed, themes installed, plugins installed, custom. There's tons of stuff we can do for you. So head over to our site, it's right here, and check us out. And then, again, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching the videos, and I hope you really enjoyed the content. See you when the next video comes out.